to all of you beautiful people. I'm back. I appreciate you so much for joining me. I have lots of good stuff to share. I've got Plain Jane. So we're gonna swatch these. A little bit about this palette is it's sparkly duochromes and multichromes, but it does not have glitter in it. No glitter. There's 12 pans. They're all removable and magnetic. The pans themselves have 3 grams of product, and then they're in a 27mm pan. So I believe it described it in total as 36 grams per pan as a total weight. If you order it, it does not ship until mid-September or November. And it's $62. The outside is made of fox leather. And I think we'll just get to swatching. So mine came early. AC 11. Then AC 12. AC 13. $14. $15. We're gonna go to AC 16. AC 17. $18, they're all AC. $19. And then AC 110. Or AC I-10 maybe. And then AC 11. And AC 12. Ooh, those two are pretty. Well, they're all pretty. There we got Plain Jane swatched. I didn't even tell you, I'm so excited I have all this stuff. I have Get Ready With Me with some of my recent haul things. I have a few things that I've tried to give you my follow-up on. I have my Mother's Day order from Clionahd, which we're going to swatch next. And a few new things. Don't ask. I really wanted to do the swatches though because I've been waiting to dig into these things. Now, these three I got when it was pre-order around Christmas time. These 6 I got, I'd say, within like a week of ordering for Mother's Day. And that was my Mother's Day gift. So we're going to swatch those 2. I wanted to do some finger swatches of Plain Jane here though. These are very buttery and smooth. Oh, so pretty. Do some on this hand, and then I will wash my hands and we will go over to Clionahd. I got 2 shades that I didn't get to do on my fingers, but you got to see them swatched. So then I wash my hands, and then we will start with Clionahd. Dang it, it wasn't recording for a minute. So the first one from Clionahd was Illumination, and it's a Series 1 iridescent multi-chrome. It looks like that, and then I swatched it. And then the second one was Tourette, and it just has face and eyes on it. And then I swatched it. So now the third one is Mosaic Hybrid Multichrome. The shifts. It's like my most famous words these days. The shifts. Swatch. Then it's Phosphorescent Series 2 Multichrome. Iridescent multi-chrome. Swatch. That one's really soft. These are amazing. I just love finger swatches. 2 more to go from my newest batch. Laneige, I think, face and eye. It looks like that. Can see the shifts, just not as much on camera, but we're getting better. 1 more to go, and it's Tower. And swatch. These are all dual or multi-chrome Clionahd, and I might as well do the 3 that I had in case somebody didn't see them. I just use a little makeup remover, and my fingers are clear. Now these are from the stained glass, so these take longer to get and they cost more. This one is Weld. These are very, 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 very shifty. We'll see if the camera does any justice. We'll see finger swatches. Flame Blown Jeweled Multi-Chrome. I don't know if it's looks like this. Watcher. See, now looking from right here, it's green. Anneal. Those are 3 from the stained glass. And you can clearly see the difference. Those are more darker black based multi-chromes. I just love swatches. Anybody else? Here's all my swatches. So this is Adept Plain Jane. These are Clionahd, a variety. But I also have more Adept, so we can swatch these 2. Then you guys can maybe make a decision if you wanted to choose something. So here they are in the pan. And in the stained glass palette from Clionahd, we got Plain Jane from Adept. I also have my own curated palette from Adept. I think I've featured it once before. It looks like this. This was when you could make your own. And these are all, you can see, removable. So you can pop them out and switch them around or put them in a bigger palette or whatever you want to do. So let's just swatch these while we're at it. It's a fun day of fun stuff, and I'm here for it, so let's go. I just use these little tools that I got for like depotting and stuff, because my nails. Okay, the first one, ACD 14. Let's see if I can match them up to what I think would be closest to Plain Jane on the top. So there's, I was deciding between this one and this one, but that one looked more purple to me. And they are not the same. I mean, that one's more blue-gray. I have nothing on my face. I have a nice tan though. A few sunny days we were outside. It was so nice. Next up, Adept is ACS 34. See if I can match it up. This is gonna be more opaque and not as shimmery. So this is the green that we have. We'll put it next to that one. Still very pretty. It's like a kind of like a pastel minty green. I'll tell you, things just disappear on this vanity. Holy moly. Well, dummy. Another green. So this is ACD00. We don't really have another green, so I'm going to put it right in the middle. Those two. Maybe I'll darken these up a little bit for final thoughts and opinions. Next contestant is, looks like this. It is ACD10. Purple, blue, metallic kind of. It almost reminds me of chameleon. So this one looks more pink than this one. I'll put it up here. That one does have shimmer though. Okay, last on the top rows. ACD4. On my thumb. I picked too many that are close together in that one. We'll just pop it in here because we're not going to have matches for all of them. Well, they don't match. It's just attempting. Got a nice gray, blue, greenish color story going on there. It's about to change though. My background, yes, it's changed. It's just another curtain that I can use, just so it's not always the same. My husband made that out of literal beads, beaded necklaces, and put a few lights on there. And then the black curtain, it's a little sheer, but it works. Okay, my fingers are cleaned off minus a little bit of glitter. We've got swatches going in every direction. So we're going down to the bottom row. This is the 10 pan, 5 and 5. ACD6. Hard to see that one. It's very pretty though. That one's much more pink than, or reddish than reddish purple. Okay, ACS 37. If I'm going to be completely honest, when I made this palette myself, I went for the most ACD and then ACS categories. So this is like an orange. We will keep her up here. Now we're getting into red and pink. ACS 23. So I got ACS and ACDs if they were in stock. Based off from what the descriptions were, I think maybe it was just in my own head that it was like the diamonds and the sparkles. I don't know, but okay, this one is really a reddish. Some people would call it a berry type of a color. Some people would call it a rusty color. 2 to go. ACS4. We'll go up here with this one. It's actually a good match, just one is more matte than the other. These are all Adept. One to go. So I'm not positive if you can still build your own palette since they have Ninhydrin and another one, I don't know the name. I'm trying not to buy every freaking thing. This is ACD 15. Another purple, well, perfect. I think I want to build them up a little. That one, and then, so here's what it looks like. You can of course move them around. I believe I picked this palette. It's kind of like crocodile looking skin, and it's got the Adept on it, and it's magnetic, obviously. And I'm just going to darken up some of these. Oh, man. Probably want to see what the hell I'm doing, I suppose. This is just the top row of Plain Jane and then the bottom row. And then over here we have Clionahd. Well, that was fun. So then I started slowly using some of the new skincare that I got. Excuse me, not all of it though, because I ain't about to have a disastrous situation going on in my face. So there was one dupe in my last video that I called a shit show that kept being out of stock, out of stock, out of stock. You can get it at Shopco or Ulta, and that's it. There's like been a lot of things going on in my life in the past month, as is everybody's, I suppose. I had gotten a gift to just go spend the day to do what I wanted. Well, most people know where that's going. I went to Ulta and Walmart. Oh, and Hobby Lobby. Okay, so you leave your guess what you think this is. Because I have not heard anybody talk about this. Not a single person. Out of the people that I watch anyways. Which is a pretty good population. It's in a glass pot. It looks like this. Take a chunk out with my nail and swatch it on my hand. It's a jelly shadow. I don't normally look in this spot, so I was really surprised when I found this because it is so beautiful. And I can't believe I've never heard anybody talk about it. And it goes pink, purple, blue. It is Starry Sky Jelly Eye Shimmer by yours truly, Morphe. I was just waiting in line and it was on an end cap, that's why. So instead of continue swatching, I think we're going to start just using some of these things. I'm going to do my brows and then we'll start, because my brows don't change. And I just cleaned them up a little bit with this Milani Conceal and Perfect. So this was another product that I had picked up, and I've used it a couple of times. I'm probably going to use it today. I used it just to clean up under my brows, and so far I really like it. I got the color 115 light nude. It's just the standard doe foot, but if you don't like a lot of concealer, I would wipe at least one side off because there's a lot more on here than what it looks like. But just for under the brows, under the eyes, we'll get there. So first we're going to start off with the Urban Decay Hydromaniac and see how that goes mixed with some Hollywood Flawless filter. Okay, so he was with us for a month, and then the doctor basically, well, the doctor did say you could sit here with him, you know, for a while, if that's what you'd like to do, and it's up to you, but the end result is going to be the same. And no, it's not the doctor's fault. No, it's, well, there's another catch to the story here. That's what I mean, is people have gotten away with so much shit. It's unbelievable. So I did actually go to the doctor earlier. Like, earlier that week, earlier that day. Because I called them, like, I can't even stand up at work. It's like hurting. I'm not sure what's going on. And my doctor had always said, if you have any type of problems, you need to go to the doctor immediately. Call the birthing center and explain to them. They can look up your name and see why. I was like, okay. Why was because I had light bleeding, but everything was fine. There wasn't a reason why. I just had light bleeding. Well, now it kind of maybe makes sense. Maybe. So I went there and they put the thing around, so I'm like about 6 months pregnant. They put the ultrasound belt around my stomach and they sit there and it's after hours. So the lady's kind of like in a hurry, not a hurry, but you know, just, you can tell she's had enough, she's ready to be done. And then here I come, as I wasn't yet high risk, but I was like, had something on my chart where people knew that, like, you know, if something was going on that they had to check me, however they do that. So I had no idea. They're the professionals. I listened to them. She's like, I'm not picking up any contractions, and it looks like you could maybe have a little bit of a bladder infection. So you're going to be uncomfortable for a little bit. Just bear with it. I'm gonna get you this, you know, antibiotic or whatever to start taking. And, you know, for the first 24 hours, just try and hang in there. Okay. Did what I was supposed to once again. Guess what happened? I waited, crying, in pain, couldn't handle it anymore. Went back to the doctor, to the emergency room now, because it was like the middle of the night and I'm like in bed and like, I cannot wait any longer. Something has to happen. You know, so my husband's like, okay, let's go. Me only being 6 months along and him only being 2 pounds, I didn't have my water break. When I got to the hospital, I was 10 centimeters dilated. Breaking news, 10 meters dilated, do that together, Melissa, is the same no matter what size your baby is. I did that shit at home. Aren't you supposed to enjoy it? Because as far as I'm concerned, that shit hurts. Well, yeah, it's supposed to hurt, but to each their own once again. So, lo and behold, there we were. About 45 minutes away from where we live. I stayed in the Ronald McDonald house. Tim mostly, he pretty much drove back and forth every day because he still had to work. We still had like an apartment and everything. We had our whole nursery set up for our first baby and everything. So there was that. Well, come to find out, the contraction belt doesn't work when you're only 6 months pregnant and your baby's that small because it can't pick them up. If it does, it has to be like right at the right place, at the right time, on the right tightness. Like, it's gotta be perfect. Didn't know any of that. If I did, it wouldn't have happened. Then the day came when the doctor said, you know, you can sit with him, you know, all you want, but it's fine. It's up to you when you want to do something different, but basically he was almost off from all the machines, and then he got an infection down the central line, and he was on backup. Everything was turned back up to 100%, so the machines were doing everything for him, and they couldn't get it down after that. So what she was telling me was, you can let me know when you don't want to watch your kid do this anymore, basically. I was like, at first I didn't understand, obviously. Not only did I just have my baby super early, now he's going to die. I'm also in postpartum for the first time. I didn't know any of this was possible. Staying in the Ronald McDonald house, I'm lost, I'm confused. My husband's driving back and forth. I just went through the most traumatic ambulance ride in my entire life, going about 150 freaking miles down the highway. Bumpy as all heck, getting poked and prodded. They debated on the flight. The flight was just had just gone for something else, and so they're like, oh yeah, I can drive and we'll make it, and you know, and they're just tossing me all over the place to hurry up and get, because about 45 minutes east, I think, is a big Marshfield hospital. We didn't even have a NICU here at that time, so yeah, we didn't have a NICU here, so it didn't matter. We do now. So I waited for Tim, and we talked about it, and we sat with him for a day, and you know, the doctor still obviously had to come in and check on us and talk with us and everything every day, but she says, you know, it's like it was like she was just slowly hinting, like, you know, like she knew that it wasn't gonna work, or like she knew that even if some miraculous thing happened, like, our lives would be really difficult, type of a thing. Because then she started talking about, and I mean very, very heartfelt, and I have every freaking respect for people in those positions, because I would not want to be giving that news to parents, new parents, no. So I extremely, extremely respect her for that. And as much as you could see, she didn't want to tell us any more than we wanted to hear. She did it professionally, but still to the point. So she very nicely and professionally said, while crying, that even if not like this, but the message was the same, because half of it's a blur to me anymore, because I was so mad and angry and confused, and it all happened in less than a month, and then we had to do his service and his burial and all that stuff. So that even if somehow miraculously something happens that we've like never seen happen before, and he starts getting better, you have a lifetime to go, pretty much. You know, he would have a lot of needs. He would, like, you know, and I think that smile lines. I think that them telling people that is good, because people, I didn't think of that, and that isn't by any means what I would base my child's life off of. But in the instance that they don't get better, and finally enough is just enough, or, you know, how long are you gonna make them lay there and suffer, that poor little baby, you know? Some people don't realize that that's oftentimes an outcome, as well as the mindset and stuff that people are in. A lot of times it happens with like twins and triplets. So people might have a little, but most people aren't going to know, and the doctor just was so generous and so forgiving, and like still gave us the option, you know, if you want to sit here with him, you know, that's completely up to you. It was a very, very hard decision that we finally had to make, because nothing was happening. And to be honest, I was getting really tired of just watching him suffer. That's all it was. I mean, hello. So we do have all of his stuff in our safe, like his diaper, his milk, his blood pressure cuff, all that stuff that was so tiny. We still have it. And the whole thing, we visit his resting spot, all of that. The whole thing of the matter is, if the lady would have physically checked me like she's technically supposed to do, none of it would have happened. Didn't know that at the time either. We were wondering why we didn't get like millions of dollars in bills. That's why. We could have sued them so incredibly bad for the Synchro Mind at that time. Never even tried or thought about it till way after the fact. It's just how it goes. So I know what it's like when people like want to shy away from talking about stuff like that, or quick to turn it because they don't want to hear about it or whatever, but it's reality, it's life, it could happen to anybody. The odds are not very well, so it's not like I would sit and worry about it. Believe me, I was then a high-risk pregnancy for my next 2 kids. All 3 boys, boom, 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 11 months apart. So I was basically pregnant 3 times back to back, laying in bed. Yep, that's what I did. That's what I had to do. So, my best advice is if you have questions or concerns or anything, even if you think it's dumb, just ask the doctor. Mine was, I had a weak cervix, but there was nothing showing that other than the bleeding, and the bleeding could be many different things, so I was just being watched, and I was being watched. It was just that the nurse that was on duty that day just decided to take the shortcut. So normally I don't even talk about that, but seeing as how the day that he passed would be tomorrow, and I've come a long ways. The first 5 years at least, probably, I wouldn't be able to even talk about it. And if I didn't have my boys, I probably would not have made it. I say that only because like my husband and I comes from families that were separated, okay? So that was one thing we both knew we wanted. I grew up kind of fast, and he's a little older than me, so it was actually planned. All of them were planned. We wanted to do that. Because if I had to stay on bed rest, complete bed rest, you know, I couldn't be doing that in between jobs and stuff. And someone would have to be with them when they were little, so we did it all at once. But in the midst of it all, after Hayden passed away and we took care of all of his stuff, like we had his service and everything, we moved by my sister-in-law in Hawaii. We just sold our stuff and left just to get away from all the bad memories and places, and it was just kind of one of those things where you're like, yep, F it, we're done with this. Something else is gonna happen. So we moved to Hawaii. Kihei, Maui, to be exact. Sounded like a fabulous idea at the time. Let me tell you. First of all, it was and would still be a fabulous idea if it didn't cost so damn much to live there. Vacation, fine. Live, no. Even if I could live there, I would not. The people are on Hawaiian time, literally. Like, the fastest road, and they don't even go the speed limit, is 40 or 45. Some of them in certain parts, which we only knew because we had people that lived there, so otherwise we would have been who knows what. But in certain areas, like the original Hawaiian people, not prejudiced in any way, shape, or form, of race, color, ethnicity, none of that. I could care less if you're purple or yellow or black, blue, orange. I don't know. It does not matter to me. But in certain areas where there was like, you know, dominance, and I don't know if they were more just like punks or what, but there was just a couple of cases where they were really, really mean to people that they knew that weren't Hawaiian, aka people like us, because we're clearly not Hawaiian. So there was that. A job was fine, but as soon as we were there, Melissa had to be on bed rest because she was pregnant. So my husband worked with who was his brother-in-law, and we didn't have much choice because I couldn't work and I couldn't fly back. That also would have all been fine and dandy, but we decided to start getting a divorce. I'm like, oh great, so they can throw us out and we're stuck here next, because there's also a lot of people over there on the beach, in tents, in the woods, whatever. That's where they live because we can't get back. If I had enough money to help them back, I would, because I would not even want to know what that feels like, because essentially you are stuck there forever then. Unless somebody magically gets you a ride out somehow, and that's a long ass flight. So, not uncommon at all. It's actually very common. Because people go to Hawaii, oh yeah, it'll be great, da, 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 da. And they either find a few jobs to make it for a little while, and it doesn't work, or their friend ditches them, or they meet somebody else, or whatever the case may be. Who knows? There's tons of instances. And then people just end up getting stuck there because the flight back to the States is very long and very expensive. So it's quite an unfortunate situation, actually. You've seen that every day. Seeing the ocean, well, yes, everybody that doesn't see the ocean probably would like to see the ocean, right? Of course. However, on a small island like Kihei, Hawaii, well, Maui, I should say, everywhere you go, you see the ocean. Pretty much. So what else? The number 7 powder I like, because I'm like taking way too long. The Tower 28 blush I really like. The e.l.f. one I would like probably in a darker color, darker or brighter color. It is buildable though. Number 7 powder I like. That CoverGirl foundation I like. The Glow Screen I like. The Urban Decay I like for maybe up to a medium coverage. But that's what I want for summer, so right now I'm trying this loose Wet n Wild for the first time. Ooh, I like it. I've been in luck because I've been taking care of my skin for a while now. This past month didn't go the greatest, but I still did what I could. So, the month of May for me has a lot of meaning, good and bad ways. It's also Mother's Day. It's also my husband and my anniversary. In the month, Hayden was born and passed away. So, if we don't have a story to tell, I don't know who does. Since then, things have happened. We're still here. We've made it. We've survived every bad day so far. The good ones are just well appreciated and thankful for. So once Jason was born in Hawaii, we had to wait a couple of months and then we could fly back, because if anybody was on the plane and sick, they didn't want the newborn baby to get sick because he's so new and you're in that plane for so long with no fresh air. Okay, I get that, I understand that. But that's all the longer we had to wait. And right about when we got back around into the States by our family, well, now we were back to having nothing. Well, not nothing, because we had Tayson in ourselves, so we really had everything we actually needed, but living wise, we had to sell everything. You can't take all that stuff with you. So, kind of had to start over in that area. And then we got into it's so funny, you start in an apartment, you start off at home, maybe college, you get an apartment, you get a trailer, you get like things that are smaller, and you were like so content with them. Strange how that works. Well, we had only when we left, it was our first apartment that we had gotten together, so it was just a decent sized 1 bedroom, because we just had the crib and stuff set up in our large bedroom. When we came back with Tayson, we obviously needed something bigger because we had Tayson and we were pregnant. But something within our budget, because we don't have, we were just getting new jobs again, and let me tell you. So, yeah, we ended up getting a 2-bedroom trailer. It wasn't like in a big lot either, but there was just a few of them. It was very quiet. The outside didn't look the best, but the inside was just fine. We were completely happy there. Everything was fine. Okay. Well, I now have Tayson, and I'm supposed to be on bed rest. Well, we did a whole lot of nothing or very short walks, because with my next pregnancies I had my cervix stitched, so the odds of it happening were a lot lower, but I still had to be very high risk and mostly bedridden. But most people also know when you have a new child, you can't hardly be bedridden. Well, why not throw another wrench in there? Tayson became very colicky. Very, very colicky. And at this point, I'm just like, yep, this is the way life goes. What am I supposed to do about it, So, it took a good few years. Switching formula, delayed on everything, like, you know, talking, walking. Even when he did, he was running into the wall. They figured out that he needed glasses. And finally, I had Trevor and Payson, and we could finally go out and about, and I would go to the store or something, and I literally was one of those mothers that grabbed both of the car seats and walked our happy asses out of the store if they wouldn't stop. There was nothing else I could do about it. There was no bargaining with Payson, and I couldn't do both at the same time, or together at the same time, so it wasn't uncommon for Payson to be upset or in trouble because that's his middle name, and lo and behold, after having some instances, which I could also tell you, they finally stopped saying, oh, he's just a little boy, and did an MRI, and he has some brain malformation. So he is actually a special needs child. Full force, like, final look next to the window. I will see you all in my next one, and I hope you were slightly entertained by my stories. Another Get Ready coming up with more new products. Thank you.